My name is Daniel Mercer. That's not my real name. I don't remember what my real name was. When you live long enough, names aren't permanent, and you detach for them. They become like clothes, just something you put on and you wear until people begin to ask questions, and then you leave and choose another. I've had hundreds of names. Daniel's my newest. I live in a small apartment outside of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. I work maintenance at a manufacturing plant. I drive a 10-year-old truck. I pay my rent. I complain about gas prices. And I eat frozen dinners. And every night, I turn into a wolf. Not metaphorically. Literally. I become the thing people call the beast of Bray Road. I wasn't born this way. I was cursed. That happened a very long time ago, long before Wisconsin had even existed, long before roads and written history. Back then, I was already old. Impossibly old. I never understood why. People around me aged normally. They became weak, their hair turned white, their hands shook, and they died. Mine never did. Years passed, then decades, and then centuries, and I remained. At first, people treated me like a blessing, asked for advice and stories of the ancient times. They touched my hands and believed some of my life would pass on to them. Then they became afraid. People always become afraid eventually of me. They watched their children grow old while I stayed the same. They buried friends while I remained unchanged. Eventually they stopped speaking to me. They blamed me. They feared me. So I left. I keep leaving. I crossed the mountains. I crossed oceans. I've learned new languages. And I've watched entire civilizations appear and disappear. I survived all of them. I stopped making friends. Falling in love means nothing to me. Nothing hurts more than realizing you will remember someone forever while the world forgets them in 2 generations. After thousands of years, I became tired. Not physically, but existentially. I wanted my life to end. That desire led me to a cave. I found it in the wilderness. The place felt wrong. Older than everything around it. Inside were carvings of wolves, thousands of them. At the center was a stone. I sat there and spoke aloud. I asked for death. I did not care who answered, but something did. I never saw it. I only heard its voice. The voice sounded old, older than the mountains. And it asked me one question. It said, "You reject your years?" I answered yes. Then it asked, "Would you give them away?" I answered without thinking. I said yes. The voice became silent. Then it said, "Then carry them differently." I don't remember what happened next. I just woke up outside the cave. At first, I thought nothing had changed. Then sunset came. My skin began to hurt. My muscles tightened. My teeth felt loose. And I collapsed. Every bone in my body changed shape. My hands became claws. My jaw stretched. Hair pushed through my skin. The pain lasted for hours. And when it stopped, I stood on 4 legs. But my mind remained human. That was the curse. I remembered everything. Every century, every face, every regret. inside the body of a predator. Then the voice returned to me one last time. It said, "You wish to escape humanity." And then it paused. "You will now live among them forever." That was thousands of years ago. Now I live a normal life, mostly. My alarm goes off at 6. I shower and I shave. I drink coffee. I go to work. No one suspects anything. At work, I fix conveyor belts and replace motors. People complain to me. People show me pictures of their dogs, ask me if I watch football. I pretend. I've become very good at pretending. My manager is 28. His name's Kyle. Last week he said he felt ancient. I looked at him and said nothing. He complained that his knees hurt. I just nodded. I remember outrunning horses. At lunch I sat with a woman named Sarah. She thinks I'm quiet. She asked me why I never talk about my family. I told her they all passed away. And that's true. I said, she asked how long ago, and I said a while. That's also true. She asked if I ever wanted kids, and I thought about it. I had buried them thousands of years ago, and then I shrugged. She said she was sorry. I smiled. I did not know how to explain that eventually grief becomes less sharp and more permanent. Like background noise. At 5 o'clock I leave for work. I drive and I wait. Because sunset still changes me, and the curse never stops. Every night I become taller, and I become something else, covered in fur, eyes that reflect yellow, long claws, not completely a wolf, not completely human. People see me. This is where the stories come from. They come from Bray Road. Hunters, teenagers, people posting blurry videos online. They think they found a monster. They never realized they passed me earlier at the hardware store. They never realized the beast bought the windshield wipers and used self-checkout. One evening, Sarah saw me leaving. She asked me where I always went. I said I liked walking. She laughed. Then she asked something strange. She asked if I ever wished life lasted forever. I just looked at her. I thought about the empires. I thought about the names I'd forgotten. I thought about thousands of birthdays that no longer mattered. And then I said, no. She looked surprised. I told her I learned after thousands of years. I said, if life lasted forever, eventually nothing would feel important. She asked if I really believed that, and I nodded. Then I said, the reason ordinary days matter is because there are only so many of them you get. She laughed and said that sounded depressing. I smiled. I didn't explain further. That night I stood on Bray Road. The moon was bright. The air smelled like rain. I looked at the houses in the distance, people eating inside, watching television, living normal lives. Lives they probably thought they were boring. I envied them, not because they had more time, but because they had less. I looked at my claws. I looked at the reflection in the truck mirror. Ancient eyes, a wolf's face, a maintenance worker's jacket, and I realized something. The curse never turned me into a monster. The curse forced me to keep living until I learned how precious ordinary life was. At that moment, a car came upon me. Bright headlights illuminating my body. Slamming on the brakes was a scared woman. It was Sarah. She was making her way from work to home. When she saw me, she was terrified. Of course she didn't know it was me. Of course I couldn't tell her. But the fear in her eyes is something I haven't remembered in many, many years. And it was that fear that reminded me of the loved ones I buried. As she screamed, she sped off, and I just sat there watching her. Tomorrow, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to go to work. And I'm going to fix the machines at that assembly plant. I'll talk to Sarah. And when the sun goes down, I'll become the beast again. But only until morning. And then I'll do it all over again.